So we're in part, I don't know, 6? No, part 6 of the world's best teachers, and we finished the lovey-doveys who cried themselves to pieces, and we're now on Miss Spick's Trike of Terror. In a world of horrible teachers, no such place, one in particular stands out for her wickedness. Step forward, or rather roll forward, Miss Spick. The lady may have been elderly, but she had lost none of her power to instill fear into the hearts of all the pupils at Spottington School. Miss Spick's eyes were as black as coal. Her skin was as white as snow. Her tongue was long and thin like a snake's. When she spoke, her S would be sinister. The librarian always rode her three-wheeler mobility scooter along the aisles of books as fast as she could go. Kids had to leap out of the way to avoid being run over. Being run over by a mobility scooter is not as much fun as it sounds, and it doesn't sound much fun. Despite the wounded children strewn across the floor, the librarian kept her library impossibly neat and tidy. All the book spines sat on the shelves in perfect straight lines in strict alphabet order. There was never a speck of dust or spot of dirt to be seen anywhere in the Spottington School library. Miss Spick enforced a strict policy of no browsing. Signs reminded you that this at every step. In fact, there might have been more signs than there were books. Books were to be taken out or left well alone. When they were returned, the librarian will pull up her magnifying glass out of her drawer and thoroughly inspect them for any damage.
Mrs. Boyd, over.
Without fail, Miss Spick always found some. When she did, you had to pay. There's a fold line on the top of the page, 137. Fine. There's discoloration on the back cover caused by exposure to sunlight. Fine. There's a greasy smudge from a thumb or a particular stubby finger on the inside of the front flap. Fine. Spick determined the fines herself. They would vary widely. The librarian would stare down at your shoes and determine from the state of them what she thought you could afford. Scuffed, 10 pence. Highly polished, £10. The money would then be snatched off you and stuffed into Spick's special tin. The tin was huge, more like a treasure chest, and was full to bursting with cash. Every child at Spottington School had fallen foul of Spick's greed, except two, the Tang twins. Tom and Tim Tang were child geniuses. The twins always received 100% in all their tests. The bullies called them nerds. No matter, these nerds were sure to invent some sort of supercomputer, become billionaires, and take over the world. The Tangs had been dabbling with all kinds of inventions already, even though none had quite caught on yet. They had created internet for cats, flying sheds, invisible hairdryers, exploding cricket balls, self-boiling eggs, night vision goggles for bats, electric flip-flops that walked themselves, nuclear-powered umbrellas, inflatable socks, and a hair-free dog. The Tang twins worked 10 times harder than anyone else in school. They were so studious that they had never been told off in their lives. So it would come to no surprise to learn that whenever they returned a book to the school library, it was absolutely spotless. Needless to say, this turned Spick incandescent with rage, and it made it impossible for her to find them. Nevertheless, she had amassed a fortune from all the other kids. But what did an elderly school librarian need all the money for? To soup up her mobility scooter, of course. Keep up. The kids gave the beast of a machine a nickname, the Trike of Terror. It was terrifying with all its modifications. Blindingly bright headlights, snakeskin seats, a parachute at back for instant stop in an emergency, a cage at front big enough in which to fit a small child, revolting number plate in case going 100 miles an hour she whizzed past a speed camera, and a bull bar. Black respray, booster battery, go faster stripes, and racing tyres. To pay for all these modifications, Miss Spick began imposing on-the-spot fines in the library for all other kinds of spurious reasons. Returning a book 1 second late, 10p. Whispering too loudly, 20p. Sneezing on a book, 75p. Looking as if you were about to sneeze on a book, 65p. Dropping a book, £20. Having an untucked shirt, 55p. Leaning on a bookcase, 25p. Yawning, 5p. Pulling a book off the shelf by hooking your finger over the top, X, rather than by pinching the spine by 2 fingers, £8.50. Sharpening your pencil and thereby disturbing their peace, 95p. Sucking on a mint, 35p. Bringing a can of fizzy drink into the library, strictly forbidden, £1.25p. Having a head shaped like an egg, 15p. Using a too scratchy pen, 30p. Dropping a crumb on the carpet, 1p. Smiling without prior written consent, 40p. Smelling of cheese, 80p. Tapping the desk, 85p. Breathing more than your fair share of air, 90p. Picking your nose, 50p. Picking your nose and eating it, £1. Picking your, licking it, rolling it and flicking it, £2.50. Breaking wind, aka farting, £100. Soon it was impossible to even set foot in the library without Spick extorting money from you. So the kids simply stopped going, which was a real shame, as they loved reading books. After she sat alone in her big empty library for a whole term without a single visitor, Spick thumped the desk in frustration. Boom! Of course, she had to fine herself for doing that. She took 85p out of her special fines tin before immediately putting it back in. Clink. Then Miss Spick had a thought. If the children would not come to her, she would have to go to them. She then leapt astride her Trike of Terror and rode it through the double doors of the library and out into the school. And I think I'm going to leave it there to find out tomorrow what she's going to do.